Ooh, let me put on my seatbelt. Wait, hold on. Let me strap on my seatbelt. I'm strapped in, y'all. Y'all better buckle up y'all seatbelts too, because this is going to be a good one, family. This is going to be a good one. I was going to talk about something else, but this morning, something else dropped in my spirit, and I got to hurry up and say it, because I know y'all don't give me much time to talk, because y'all get bored fast. There's so many other things to do in this day of electronics and everything else we got going on. Ooh, I'm wasting my time talking now. But anyways, family. In my quiet time this morning, it dropped in my spirit. People will count you out. People will count your tail out. You done this. You done that. Well, she used to do this and she used to do that. But they forget I used to suck a pacifier too, but I don't do that no more. Anyways, that's another story. But let me tell you about a person that I know in the Bible who was counted out. And that's my boy, Peter. I love me some Peter, because Peter will cut you, and he'll cuss you too. Mess around with Peter, you'll get cut and cussed at the same time. No, don't take it from me. Let me read it to you. Here goes story time. Here, I was reading in the book of Matthew, and Matthew 14, 66 through 73 reads. It says, "Now as Peter was below in the courtyard, one of the servants of the high priest came, and when she saw Peter warming himself, she looked at him and said, You were also with that Jesus of Nazareth." See, because by now they didn't come and arrested Jesus and took him off, and they was going to crucify him. But let's go far back. You're going to have to read it for yourself, because if I tell you everything and I read everything for you, you won't read it for yourself. But Jesus had already told Peter, "Peter, you're going to deny me 3 times. And Peter was like, "No, I'm not." He was like, "Yeah, you will." That goes to show us that we don't even know what's in our own heart. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Remember that part. But anyways, this is the same Peter that was on the mountain, and Jesus said, "Peter, on this rock I build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail." This is the same Peter that I'm talking about. You have to pick that part up and read it for yourself. Okay, so he done already told Peter, "You are a rock." That means Peter is strong, and he was chosen. He was the one that Jesus put his faith into. And he said, okay, on this rock I build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail. Further down the line, Jesus told the same Peter, he says, "You're going to deny me 3 times before the crow. Cock-a-doodle-doos 2 times." And Peter said, "No, I won't. No, I will not." He meant that thing. Just like some people mean well. They mean well. In the good of it, they'll stick there with you. They'll be right there with you. And they mean well. But somewhere down the line, you'll do something or say something that don't go with what they think. Ain't right in what they think. Shabuchi, she cuss. You know she'll cuss you out. She'll cut you if you don't. Let me tell you about my brother Peter. It says, "Now as Peter was below in the courtyard, one of the servants of the high priest came, and when she saw Peter warming himself, she looked at him and said, 'You also was with Jesus of Nazareth.' But he denied it, saying, 'I neither know nor understand what you are saying.' And he went out on the porch, and a rooster crowed. And the servant girl saw him again and began to say of those who stood by, 'This one of them, they'll point you out. They will point you out. They'll tell on you, there you go.' But he denied it again. And a little later, those who stood by said to Peter again, 'Surely, you are one of them. For you are a Galilean, and your speech shows it.' They will know you by your fruit. You could. Then he began to curse and swear. This is in Mark 14, chapter 14, verse 71. Then he began to swear and curse. I do not know this man of whom you speak. A second time the rooster crowed. Listen. Then Peter called to mind the word that Jesus had said to him, before the rooster crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. And when he thought about it, he wept. You don't have to bring up my mistakes to me. I already know what I done wrong. Peter knew what he done wrong. Immediately he knew what he had done wrong. And he wept. He knew it. You hear me? But a lot of people around him, some of the disciples too, people seen him and they heard him deny Christ 3 times. He denied him. It was true. They saw it. They know he was a cusser. We even got up to the part where he didn't cut his ear off yet, but that's a whole nother story. I'll tell y'all about that later. Peter wept. Now, when Peter wept, I'm sure he was weeping, number 1, because he let Jesus down. Number 2, he himself was ashamed of himself. Number 3, he was embarrassed in front of the people that saw him. The people that saw him could look at him, he a cusser. Be following Jesus around and cussing. Peter. Peter felt bad. He just felt bad. But see, this is the part that I like the most about this story. Let me go over here. That's in Mark 16, a couple of pages over. Mark 16, 5 through 7. I could go back a little bit. Okay. Matthew 16, the resurrection of Jesus. Now, when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James, and Salome both bought spices that they might come and anoint Jesus' body. Very early in the morning, on the first day of the week, they came to the tomb when the sun had risen, and they said amongst themselves, who will roll away this stone from the door of the tomb for us? They girls, who gonna roll it away? But they was there. But when they looked up, they saw that the stone had been rolled away, for it was very large. Now this is the part I like. And entering the tomb, they saw a young man clothed in a long white robe sitting on the right side, and they were alarmed. First of all, how does the door get open? And who are you? But he said to them, do not be alarmed. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. Guess what? I got some good news, y'all. He is risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him? He is not here. This is what he said. This is what I like right here. He said, but go tell his disciples and Peter that he is going before you into Galilee. There you will see him, as he said to you. I can shut it off right there. And Peter. All them people, even Peter himself, had probably counted himself out. He was embarrassed. Number 1, he was ashamed of himself because he did deny Christ. And he was embarrassed in front of the pointers. You following Jesus. You've been cussing and you've been doing that and you denied him. When the time came for you to, you denied him. I'm sure Peter felt horrible. Not only was he down on himself, but the people around him They was down on him too. But how many of them? How many of them denied Christ as well? I know he wasn't the only one in the crowd. They was like, do you know this? No. But he wasn't in the spotlight. It was Peter. It was Peter. They're trying to make Peter look bad. The folk had done counted Peter out. But God. The moral of this story is, yeah, people going to count you out. They're going to look at what you done and what you said and who you with. And they're going to count you out. But I got good news for you. God won't count you out. When he called the rest of them, if you love him and you've accepted him, when he called the rest of them, I was glad when he said, and Renee, hey, hey. Because I know I've been counted out many times. I cuss. Make me mad. I'll pray about it later. See, that's what God is working on that thing. Y'all could just call me Peter. Hey, I'm not making fun of it. I'm trying, y'all. I'm working on it. I swear I'm working on it. But I'll cut you. And I'll cuss you. And Jesus will still say, and Renee. Hey! Anywho, family, I know I done talked a long time, but I wanted to come by and tell somebody. You are important too. You may have denied Christ a couple of times. You may have denied. And repent. Lord, forgive me. I was scared. Them folk was looking at me and they was. I know I'm supposed to put all my trust in you, but Lord, forgive. I did. And I messed up. But the good news is, he said, and Renee. Woo! That's good news for me. That's good news for me. Cause I know I done messed up a couple of times. I done messed up more times than I care to admit. I done worry about what the folks said. God didn't count me out. But he hasn't. All right, family. It's time for me to go. I got stuff to do and people to see. I can't sit around here. And I'm going to mind my P's and Q's today. No more bad words. Anywho, family. Have a good day. I love you. Don't worry about the folk that done counted you out when God has counted you in. Have a good day, family. And I love you. And take care.